Okay, welcome. In this second video, I am going to continue showing how to set up a developer machine. In the last one, we covered how to turn on dev mode, how to create a dev drive, and how to turn on a couple of settings for developer-related things. So in this one, I'm gonna cover something else. So as developers, we all need to use multiple setup tools, and we all need to download them. And on Windows, the way to do that is, well, there are multiple ways. You can just go to the web, download the installation, download the ESEs, and then just execute them. Or you can go to the store and just download each one. But there's a new way, which I'm going to show you. That looks more like what a developer would do when they want to install something. So here it is. I am in the Windows terminal. This is relatively new, I think. If you haven't used it before, this is now the default terminal app in Windows. It supports tabs. It supports multiple profiles. You see we have PowerShell, command prompt, other kind of prompts. As you install them in the future, they will also show up here as well. So right here, so for example, all developers will probably all use Git for source management. How do I install Git? Well, there's now a package manager built into Windows. So you can search, it's called WinGet. And in WinGet, you can search for packages. So I can do WinGet, search, Git, and it's gonna ask me, do I agree to use it with the terms and services? I say yes, and you'll see it just gives me a bunch of things that are called Git. And then, among all of these ones, you're gonna need to find the one you actually want. So right here, this is Git is just called Git, and the ID of it is called git.git. So copy that, and we just do WinGet install git.git, and yep, now it is finished. I don't think it'll show up right away, but if we close it and open terminal again, we'll probably see Git, and there we go. Yeah. And same way you can install VS Code. So WinGet, search VS Code, and yep, the first one seems about right. I'll just do WinGet install VS Code. Yeah, so some of the programs will install silently in the background, only prompt you when they ask for administrative access. But for others, sometimes they also show you the installation UI. And because VS Code installs to the users folder by default, it doesn't require the administrative access. So there we go. We just installed VS Code. For working with command line, which you're going to be working with it a lot, my recommendation is to use PowerShell in Windows. And there's the current one that's being actively worked on is called PowerShell Core, which is open source and cross-platform. It is not in Windows by default, so the one that you're seeing is the built-in one called Windows PowerShell. So I do recommend getting the newer one. So let's do a search. WinGet search PowerShell, and yep, sure thing, there are multiple. I think this is the one, Microsoft.PowerShell version 7.4.2. So WinGet install Microsoft PowerShell. And because I just installed a new shell, we want to use that in terminal. I think we need to close it for terminal to detect a new shell is installed. if we open the drop down, here we go, we see PowerShell right here. So what I like to do is to pick it as the default, right? And you know, sometimes what I also like to do is to increase the default height a little bit. Let's see where that would be. Schema? I don't think that's schema. Advanced. Startup. Launch size, there we go. So I think 35 normally is gonna look pretty good. So let's close it and see the changes. Oh yeah, that's very good. And still, I think it looks a little too plain. There are ways to customize the appearances of the shells. So normally I turn on acrylic. Okay, let's click save. And then right here in the appearance, let's use the one half dark theme color, and then background opacity, set it to 75%, enable acrylic, and yeah, I think that's pretty good. And I think because I'm in the virtual machine, it's not gonna actually show the acrylic, but if you do that on your side, it's gonna look really sick, because you're gonna be able to see the background pass through the acrylic material is semi-transparent and blurred as well. Yeah, that's how I like to set up my my terminal. And if you remember, in last video we created a dev drive as the D drive, so let's navigate to it. cd D drive. We have nothing here, so let's create a folder. Let's call it test. Let's cd into test, and then what we can do is to open test folder in VS Code. I don't know if okay, we're able to open it. So VS Code did register the command, the code command, even if it's installed from WinGet. I trust the other because it's me. Yeah, so this is how you would code in Windows, right? You can create files, you can start coding, and then when you're ready, you can do git init, and then you can do git add, git commit, and you know the drill. I'm not gonna set up right here. You know the drill. So that's pretty much it for this video. Quick recap: we learned how to properly download programs on Windows through the package manager WinGet, and we learned how to set up the terminal using PowerShell and setting up the appearances, because you're gonna use terminal a lot. You're gonna need to like it for you to use it without you know, being really frustrated. So there we go. Thank you for watching this one. See you in the next one. Bye.